Hey everyone, welcome to the Mitch Sanker Show, where we talk business, entrepreneurship, and big ideas. Today's guest has been a real estate agent for over 6 years and is consistently ranked in the top 5% of realtors in the Durham region. He's the recipient of the Keller Williams Triple Gold Award and is truly passionate about helping his clients buy and sell real estate through providing an excellent service. Please welcome my friend, Stefan Melnichuk. Kind of get into let's get into why you got into real estate.
Well, 6 years ago, I was working in sales still. It was a commission-based job, so I wasn't scared of earning your money when you think about it that way. Mm-hmm. It was actually in the automotive industry, performance auto parts. So it was really cool, fun job. And
so what were you selling, cars or the parts?
Selling the performance car parts.
Okay.
We were like doing Fast and the Furious, but in real life. So it was fun stuff. It was commission based. It was sales. You had to be knowledgeable. So I got a lot of my sales skill sets from there. And when I learned about the real estate career, I looked at it as hey, this is like a doable transition here, right? I've got a kind of database or clientele here that trust me, and I'm not starting from scratch going out there. I've got people that know me and know that I know my stuff. So I just got to show them, hey, yeah, I know cars, but I know real estate too now. So that kind of just matched me with wanting to always help people, get educated in their decisions. My mom's a teacher. So I liked, teaching, learning, helping people that way. My dad was kind of a handyman, so a lot of building stuff around the house, changing out painting, cabinets, whatever. So that's your upgrade side to the house. Mm-hmm. And naturally, I kind of liked financing as well. So real estate kind of I was able to bring everything into one here, where I could show my expertise in each area and genuinely help someone make the most important decision of their life.
And how old were you there?
I started when I was 24 in real estate.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 years now.
Okay. And that transition phase, did you keep that sales job at the automotive?
Yeah, I did for a little bit. I started in real estate part-time.
Yeah.
Like most people, probably a little nervous to go off to a totally different career path.
Yeah. What was the scariest part for you there?
Scariest part was can I actually do this? Am I going to make enough money to survive?
But your other job was commission-based as well,
The other job
right?
was commission-based as well.
So
but
two commission-based jobs, why was that? Why were you scared at that point?
I was just scared that doing the one job on its own, that, I was too young. People weren't going to trust me. People weren't going to believe that I had the knowledge. Starting off, it was I've got no experience. I've never sold a house before. Why is this person going to let me sell their house? So it just took a little bit of getting over in your own head mentally, and starting to believe in yourself. And once you know your stuff, people are going to see that through you. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
It doesn't matter your age or anything, right? They see that you have the knowledge. They're going to trust you with that.
Yeah. So what was the first year like in real estate for you?
First year was actually a pretty good year.
Yeah.
I did about half a dozen sales. Well, I say pretty good year for a first year maybe. So I did about half a dozen sales, friends, family, some referrals. It was mainly buyers, which was awesome because it was a great way to really get my feet wet out there. I was going out seeing houses everywhere. I was going to Toronto for showings, Oshawa, Peterborough. I was just, every opportunity I could, I got out there. I got showing houses. I got to know the marketplace, got to know, pricing. I got to know, what was a little bit crazy is when I started was in these bidding wars. So you had to learn very quickly.
What year would this be?
This would have been 2014, 2015.
So was that when the market was kind of crazy and getting into
it just kind of started
in
March 2015. So
okay.
I got licensed right at the end of 2014. So 2015 was my first full fiscal year in real estate. So it got a little crazy, and it kept getting crazy. So with me being a younger guy working with a lot of first time buyers, it was tough. Like I remember taking clients out to honestly like 30 houses, like sorry, showings way more than that, but putting in 30 offers and not being able to get the deal done because these bidding wars were just going nuts. So it was challenging, but I stuck to it. And that, you know what, was probably one of the best things I ever did, because those people saw that I never gave up on them. You know, a lot of agents may, okay, listen, unless you're offering 100,000 over asking here, like we're not putting in this offer, I'm done showing you houses, you can't afford this, whatever. I never ever gave up on a client, gave up on their situation. They said, this is my budget. I don't want to waive a home inspection. I don't want to waive financing conditions because this is my first house. I want to be comfortable. I said, no problem. We'll make that happen. It doesn't matter how long it takes. And every single one of them got into the marketplace. It just took time and persistence.
Right. And what was it like working with those people? Like, it must be, you know, pretty heartbreaking for a lot of those people too. They have their hearts set on these homes and just countless time and time again. Like, what are they feeling? Is it like just let down, rejection? Like, what is it?
Yeah, you know what? One specific story I remember, we were close. We were very close, and we drove over to the house. I picked up my client. We drove over together. We're sitting out front, and you know, the agent came out, said, come back with your best offer, and we went in, did that a couple times. Eventually she came out and she said, you had the highest offer amount. And we're like, okay, great. She's like, but we're going with another offer. And I'm like, what? Like, are you kidding me? The other offer waived their financing conditions and their home inspection, and we weren't willing to do that, right? I wanted to make sure my client was protected and wasn't buying a money pit, right? So he was like, just, and I was at a loss of words. Like, we couldn't have done anything else better. Like, you offered the most amount of money. You just got to keep with it. Like, this is so random that this is happening like that, right? So it kept happening, and it's just keep them motivated, keep them on the right page. Don't let them get too down. It's not anything personal with them. It was the market. So you just got to keep kind of reiterating that. And it helps to like put them in the seller's shoes. Said, listen, if you had your house and you were selling it, like, you would take something with no conditions because it's a done deal, wash your hands. Said, who knows? Maybe something was wrong with that house and they didn't want you to find it because they knew something was wrong. So you could have been saving yourself a lot of issues anyways, right? Sure,
yeah. What was it like when you let like your friends and family knew that you're changing career paths? Like, were they supportive? Like, what were their reactions to you changing?
Yeah, almost everyone was very supportive. It took my family a little bit to probably trust me, you know, once I had a few years of sales under my belts. And I remember one specific family member, she didn't even let me list her house. She was out in Unionville. And then once she found out I did like $1 million plus deal out in Mississauga, she was like, oh, I guess like you're actually doing this. I'm like, yeah, I'm actually doing this. Like, I know what I'm doing. So yeah, you know what? Everyone supported me, friends especially. I got a great group of tight-knit friends, and they've just been awesome. Referrals and just having my back every day out there. They're the ones, you know, liking my posts, sharing my stuff, telling other people about it. I got the best sphere of influence around me.
Yeah, and that's huge. Like, it's important when you start any business to have that support.
Yeah.
It's funny, I saw like a meme, like I think it was a couple days ago, and it was like, you know, someone gets what is it? Oh, geez. They get a new job, and then it's just like everyone congratulates them, but someone starts a business and like no one like, you know, likes that post or whatever, right? Like, just the reaction on, you know, posting saying, hey, I got a new job, and then, you know, it's like, wow, like 500 likes on that, and then it's like I started a new business, and it's like crickets, kind of thing, right? Where it's just like it's funny because that's unfortunately kind of is the truth for a lot of people, right? And to take so much courage and guts to make that decision, not even like to start it, just to make that decision and shift that your mindset to that.
For sure.
And say you're going to do it, and then to do it and then have that support, then it's a huge confidence builder. What was that like for you? Like that first year building that confidence, did you feel like you had it right away, or was it slow and steady, or did it take like, 5 deals to get that confidence? What was that like?
Yeah, it probably took the whole year to realize, okay, I did okay. I think we always put like extra pressure on ourselves, and we never feel like we're doing our best
Sure.
or good compared to others, because we're seeing these people on these TV shows, $1 million deals here and there, and hey, I've sold 50 houses this year on a big billboard in Toronto, and you're like, oh, I've only sold 6. Like,
Right.
what the heck? But at the end of the year, the real estate board here in Durham, they come out with the stats, and you see that there's, 6,000 agents here in Durham, and 51% of them do less than 3 deals a year. And that if you do more than 10 deals, you're basically in the top 5%. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay, I can like make a go at this,
Yeah.
right? Like if I step into this full time, if I'm doing this many deals part time, if I step into this, if I give this, my mind, my body, my energy, I can do this. Like I'm going for it, right?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the light switch on, like, okay, you got to do this. I left my part-time job at the time, and I went full-time into real estate head first.
Cool. Right
Yeah.
on. Did you have goals like that year? Did you say like, I want to hit this many deals or anything like that?
My goals have never been like deal oriented or money oriented. I've always just want to help as many people as I can. And honestly, I think that's the best way to look at it. This year I want to help 25 people buy or sell. I don't care about the money of it. I don't care if they're buyers, if they're sellers. I just want to be able to like help as many people as possible this year. It's honestly awesome getting the reviews from people afterwards and their reactions. You don't realize like how big of an impact agents have in these people's lives. They make it so much easier, take the stress, the pain points out of these people's lives when they're selling. So, long term, when you see it come around, you're like, wow, I actually made a difference for these people, and wow, they really, really appreciate this. Like, you're getting these awesome reviews. So that's kind of.
What kind of stress are people going through, like when they're making the decision of, let's say, for example, like buying a house, whether it's their
Okay.
first house or just they're moving up or next stage of life? What are some of that stress that the home, that home buyer is experiencing?
So the pain points that I see a lot with buyers, they have no idea where to start. Money-wise, they don't know what government incentives are there for them. They don't know what they need down payment-wise. They don't know what land transfer tax is. So honestly, they just feel flustered the first time I see them. They're like, we saw this house on realtor.ca and we want to go and see it and we want to buy it. And it's like, okay, slow down. We got a couple boxes to check before we can get into that, right? So, I've created a buyer's guide for people to kind of, and we send them out in the mail or email, to kind of walk people through the whole buying process so they can see the big picture of it. Mm-hmm. It's going to have a step-by-step process from getting pre-approved for a mortgage to figuring out what area you want to live in, to what you can afford, what you're going to need to save up for down payments, what you're going to need for lawyers' fees, what you're going to need for closing costs. So there's a lot of stuff that's in this package, but it's really like simplifying it for these buyers because it is a stressful process for them. They literally don't have any kind of damn, that's gonna sound bad.
That's all right.
They don't have the resources to know all this information, right?
Yeah, so it's more or less like a roadmap that just
that's
clarifies
perfect.
clarifies
Roadmap.
things, points them in the right direction, maybe shows them like what they need to do to
Yeah.
get to that end, right? Versus just like I need to buy a house now, and then
Yeah.
they're just flustered and
I actually think like it couldn't be a better time right now to be a buyer. They've got a lot of good things going for them.
like what?
They've got government incentives. The land transfer tax rebate is up to $4,000 now.
What's that?
So when you're buying a house, you got to pay land transfer tax on it. The buyer pays this. It's going to be a percentage of the purchase price. It's so much for the first 100,000, so much for the next 150,000. So the government is actually giving you $4,000 off this amount. So if your land transfer tax is going to be $6,000, now it's only $2,000. It's an instant rebate. And that's like doubled in the last 5 years. Last time I bought a house, it was only $2,000. So
Right.
they're putting incentives out there. There's the RSP contributions, so you can take up to $25,000 out of your RSP to put towards a first house, and you just got to pay it back in the next 15 years, and there's no penalties or anything. But the main reason right now, interest rates, they're sitting around 3%. And like, to me, that's just insane. Their rates are at a historical low. I mean, if you look back to the 1980s, rates were like above 20%. So, and they've steadily.
That's crazy.
I know, that's insane to me to think. You know, I look at my parents and I'm like, oh, you bought this huge 2,500 square foot house for like $160,000. Like, it's different now. You know, that's like the arguments they're having.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it was different, but they were paying like 18 to 20% interest on that.
Yeah.
So that's why they still have mortgages, right? But it's you know, I'm trying to, especially this millennial generation, in their lifetime, they've only seen a decrease in rates. They've never really seen little blips up and down
Sure.
here, but they've only seen rates steadily come down. So like the mid 2000s, right before 2008, I think rates were at 7%. Even then, like, we're at less than half of that. So it is a great time to lock in for like a 5-year mortgage. Rates are at an all-time low still.
Yeah. Do you think that they could, like, is there a chance that they're going to continue to lower?
Well, we'll see here.
Is that a thing? Like,
We'll see what next year brings. I think the bank said that they're holding the rate right now.
yeah.
They could definitely drop. Like, the economy's doing some weird stuff right now, and our economy here is dependent a lot on the U.S. So there's a lot going on down there right now that could affect us, right?
Yeah, yeah. What kind of advice do you have for millennial first-time home buyers?
So I would say, if buying a house is on your radar in the next year, go into a bank, go see a mortgage broker, and get pre-approved. See where you're at. A lot of people, once they do that, they see some blemishes in their credit maybe. And you know what? That can be fixed. You know, in a few months, you can fix some stuff on your credit. Your mortgage broker, they're great. They'll give you advice on how to improve your credit, pay this loan off, do a lump sum payment here, and you can improve your credit in the meantime, and that's going to get you pre-approved for a higher amount when you are ready. Mm-hmm. So even if you're not ready, like, to start looking at houses today, but it's something you want to touch in the next year, it's a good idea to go in, get the pre-approval, find out what your credit score is, and see what you can do to give yourself the best opportunity in the market.
Right. Do you find like a lot of people reach out to you maybe wanting to go look at homes and they haven't done that approval process?
Oh yeah. That's how like almost every search starts, is someone sees something on Facebook or on Instagram or realtor.ca, and they're starting to fall in love with it.
Right.
And I want to go see this now. Oh my God, it's this much money. They'll use like a mortgage calculator to figure out what the mortgage would be. And oh yeah, I can afford that. But it's not just affording that. It's property taxes, it's utility costs. It's you got to factor in if you have a car payment as well.
Sure.
So
yeah, so you're just not getting your hopes up and then getting let down.
Yeah,
and
so,
you're like, but your credit's not good, or you can't get approved because of the type of job maybe that
exactly.
you have.
So the first step is, I've got a team around me. I've
Yeah.
got mortgage brokers, people at almost every major bank that can get you pre-approved. So that's going to be the first step, is to get you pre-approved. I don't want to take you out and show you $600,000 houses. You fall in love with it. Your pre-approval comes back and you can only afford $500,000. And you're going to be constantly let down because you're not going to be seeing what you've envisioned yourself in. So I always say, start with a pre-approval, then we'll go see houses in our budget. I don't want you to fall in love with something that's not attainable. You're going to hold every house to that standard that you loved, right?
Right. Okay, so then let's say that millennial first-time home buyer gets the pre-approval. Mm-hmm. They're in good shape. They're now looking for homes with you. Is that what's the next step in that process?
Yeah, so the next step, we'll figure out a search for them. I always like to qualify people with 3 non-negotiables. So what must you have in your house that you cannot live without? And these are things tangible things that cannot be added later on. So I want a big yard, right? we got to have a big yard from the get-go. We can't add land to the house afterwards. A big one is I want to have an ensuite or a walk-in closet. If there's no ensuite, usually you can't add an ensuite, right? So figure out the non-negotiables, what your must-haves are in the house. We basically set up a search campaign from there that's going to filter all the properties in the area that you're looking for by bedrooms, bathrooms, if it's got a big backyard, if it's got a big driveway, a 2-car garage, a single-car garage. You can go right down to if the place has a pool or not. And we're going to send all those listings to you. And from there, you get to view them all every morning on your phone or your email. My friends love it. They get addicted to looking at it. Even after we find them houses, they end up like, hey, don't take me off the email. I like seeing what's going on out there, right? So yeah, from there you look through the properties and whatever's interesting to you. Then we set up appointments and then we start going to see them.
Great. No, that's good. I like the 3 non-negotiables.
Yeah,
it just makes it easy to just focus on what it is, what's the most important to that person. Right?
Yeah, for sure, and it helps keep them on track even though they don't realize it. Especially when the market gets crazy and people can get a little desperate, right? It's like, hey, you said 2-car garage is a must. Why are you wanting to go and see this townhouse now, right? Or hey, we need parking for 4 cars. And you're sending me something that's like a single skinny lane parking, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey,
now, do you think it's probably like the excitement, I guess, that they're just getting, or maybe the scarcity, maybe there's not much on the market, maybe, and they're just like, they've expanded that search now. What is it? It
can be scarcity, it can be excitement, it can be frustration. I remember one time I had these clients looking for a 3 to 4 bedroom detached home in North Oshawa. And, they kept getting let down. Things weren't working out. All of a sudden, they sent me a back-to-back 2-story townhouse. So you don't even have a backyard, right? And I'm like, it's stairs right when you walk in, and then there's a main floor and 2 bedrooms upstairs. And I'm like, whoa, guys. I'm like, what's going on here? Like why are we looking at this all of a sudden? And they're like, oh, well, we just want to move so bad. Like, we just want to start our lives together so bad that we're just anxious to get going. And so that's where it's like, okay, like we can do this, but I know this isn't what you really want. And I know that after 6 months of living here, you're going to be unhappy and you're going to be calling me again, or maybe you'd be mad at me for letting you do it. So I'm not going to let you do it. Right.
No, that's good. And that's good that you've got that integrity and you're able to, like, I don't know, what do you feel like, more like a coach at that time, I guess. Yeah. Right? Don't make this mistake, right? But no, that's interesting. What kind of tips do you have for people that are selling?
So selling right now, it's actually an amazing time to be a seller as well right now.
Yeah. Is it like when they talk about buyers markets and sellers markets, like what is that? Is that just a stat that gets put out to all the realtors, and then all the realtors just tell all the people that own a home, hey, it's a seller's market? What is that?
So the way we figure it out is by determining the months of inventory.
Okay.
So months of inventory is by taking the amount of active listings available and dividing it by the amount of listings sold. So 4 to 6 months, that's a balanced market. 4 to 6 months of inventory, that's great for buyers, great for sellers. Anything more than 6 months of inventory, that's a buyer's market. There's lots of houses out there. And then, of course, anything less than 4 months of inventory, we have a seller's market. So we started January 2019 with 3 months of inventory. And throughout the year, we've steadily seen a decrease. And we finished the year at 1.7 months of inventory. So what that means is that if no new listings came out after today, at the rate people are buying houses, we would run out of houses in our market in 1.7 months. So that tells me that is a seller's market right now. Right. Houses are selling.
Right. Is there I guess you wouldn't know to say how long that would last for. There's no number. It's a seller's market for how long?
Oh, well, so we do the stats month by month.
Okay.
So every month we look at how many active listings there are that month and how many sold that month. So we can kind of graph it throughout the year. So that's what I mean. We started the year at 3 and we ended the year at 1.7.
Right.
And same thing with average sale price. I'll be very general here, but in Durham region, We started in January 2019 with an average sale price of $577,000. Now that's very general. That's detached, semi-detached, townhouses, condos, all the way from Bowmanville to Pickering. But we ended the year at an average sale price of $640,000. So that's $60,000 on average that houses have gone up in Durham. So we're seeing inventory come down. We're seeing prices going up. Interest rates are low. I honestly think things could get a little bit crazy in 2020 here. Like the market might shoot off again.
In what sense?
It might shoot off in...
Are we going to start seeing like bidding wars again? And
yeah, you know what? I hope not, because that wasn't fun for anyone at the time. But I can just see that with the demand rising, with the inventory coming down, that, you know, supply and demand, prices I think are going to shoot up this year. That's why it's a great time to be a seller still.
Yeah, right. No, okay. So yeah, I get that. So what you're going on about the tips for selling?
Tips for selling.
Yeah. Or tips for sellers. Like, what advice do you have for sellers, home sellers?
Hire a real estate agent.
Yeah.
No, like there's lots of things that sellers can do to bring out the value in their house.
Yep.
I mean, focus on renovations that are going to bring back money, renovations or upgrades that are going to show curb appeal as well.
So what are some of those? What's the best thing for curb appeal?
Curb appeal?
Yeah.
Go to Home Depot, get a bunch of nice, colorful, bright flowers. Do up your garden. Make sure the grass is cut nice. And the biggest one I like is reseal your driveway. Nice, fresh, black driveway. Always looks sharp in that photo. I mean, you got to remember the first photo on MLS is usually the front of the house, and that's got to catch someone right there. It's got to look nice to get them to click in and click in through the pictures of the house, right?
Sure. And then what are some of the renovations that you're talking about?
Within the house, fresh paint, including trim. Paint the trim, people. Don't just paint the walls. Fresh paint, fresh trim. The house looks clean. That's always a great start. Neutral colors. I know we've all heard it before. Depersonalize the house. But if you're going to look to invest into the house, you want to get a return out. Maybe you don't want to spend $50,000 on a big kitchen upgrade. Look at doing your washrooms. Do your master bathroom and your second bathroom, your powder room. I mean, I don't know what it is, but people fall in love with bathrooms. I'm not. Maybe it's because I'm a guy.
You're not a bathroom guy.
I'm not a bathroom guy. It's a bathroom, right? But people fall in love with these nice bathrooms. And then they go, oh, okay, you know what? We love this. We love where we're going to be sleeping. You know what? The new buyers will look at, okay, if we need to change this kitchen, we'll put the $50,000 into the kitchen, right?
Right. So your advice would be to do the renovation on the bathroom. Is there like a kind of meet in the middle? Like, would someone like restain the cabinetry in the kitchen? Is there something like that? Like, is the kitchen gonna increase the value of the home more than the bathroom? I would assume.
Yeah. No.
Right? So can you kind of, if you don't want to dump $50,000 into a new kitchen, can you do something for $10,000?
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas like a $10,000 upgrade on a kitchen, is that better than $10,000 into a bathroom?
Interesting.
Like, what forces that?
I think it's got to be.
appreciation?
I think it's got to be complete. You know, you wouldn't want a half-done kitchen with a half-done bathroom.
Right.
Do the bathroom.
Yeah,
fully.
yeah. Because I guess the new owners are looking at, that's good. You kind of did some stuff, but we still have to go in and
we
do
gotta
it.
finish it.
And then if you
right?
did the same thing for the bathroom, it's like, nice try, but we still have to do it proper.
I like doing the cupboards in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, if there's oak cupboards there, they're just like that older, like 90s stain on them, right?
Yeah.
You can go in and paint them or restain them and leave the original countertops that are there. So someone else can come in and say, okay, we like the cupboards here. We just got to drop some money on new counters. Easy, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, I like that one. I like doing that. It's something easy that most people can do themselves. For a few $100, they don't gotta pay anyone, right? Just go to Home Depot, pick up the stain or pick up the paint, and you can easily upgrade that. Yeah.
Yeah. And now, are these recommendations that you're giving people? So if someone approaches you, hey, Stefan, I'm thinking about selling my home. Can you give me an idea of how much I can get for it? Is that your job now to make those recommendations?
Yeah. So what I even offer before you're thinking of, you don't even have to be thinking, I want to sell my house in the next 6 months. So what I actually offer is a free home improvement consultation. And we do this at any time in the year. So whether you just buy the house, or we met and you want me to come in and give you an opinion, or, I'm with you the whole way. I want to make sure that while you own this house, anything you do is going to be something that's going to bring back equity in the house, right? Unless you're just like, you know what, I'm here for 15 years. I don't care. I'm dropping this money into the kitchen because I want to enjoy it, right? Mm-hmm. So what I'll do is I'll come through the house with the owners and I'll give them all the tips and tricks of what to do and what not to do. Tell me what you're thinking of doing, and I'll tell you whether it's worth to spend the money there, if you're going to see a return on it or not.
Yeah.
And that goes like with flooring, with paint, with opening up walls, with adding islands, and right down to upstairs. I've seen like a lot of people want to create a huge walk-in closet by stealing another bedroom, right? I see that all the time. And it's like, no, like don't, you're going to lose a bedroom. So now.
Right. And that means more, right? Having like a 4-bedroom. Yeah.
So if you have a 4-bedroom and you're down to a 3, I'm going to be like, I know you want a huge ensuite or a huge walk-in closet. You want to steal from this room to do that. And that's great if it's just you here. But if you're planning on selling this, here, look what the 3 bedrooms in your neighborhood are selling. So you're taking away money, right?
Right. That's actually that's great advice. I mean, for someone selling, I mean, obviously if they're like, this is where I'm going to like live and die here.
Yeah.
I want that, I want that 20-foot walk-in closet.
That's it at the end of the day. I was doing this for a client, and we're talking about he wanted to do this crazy shower renovation to have like his and hers waterfalls in the shower, right? And he said, okay, Bob, like you're not getting any more money out of doing a his and hers. Like people look at a shower as a shower, and it's a nice shower, or it's a shower that needs to be upgraded, right? So you're spending an extra $2,500 to do this. As long as you're okay with that, just you're washing your hands of that $2,500. You're not getting it back. And he said, yeah, you know what? I want to enjoy it. This is what I want. So I'm going to do it this way.
Right. Yep. What are some of like the myths that people might think that they're going to improve that, like the value of their home by maybe doing their own renovation somehow?
Oh, finishing a basement.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks that they can finish their own basement. And, buyers, what I'm seeing is that they would rather buy an unfinished basement for 2 reasons. So one, homeowners are doing a lot of it themselves.
Yeah.
And on these home inspections, we're catching electrical that hasn't been done right. Any frame, like walls aren't straight when they're framed.
Yeah.
Flooring, you don't have the right underpad down for in case there's a flood down there. So a lot of buyers want an unfinished basement. One, they can see the foundation, that it's clean, it's not cracked or anything, right? Mm-hmm. 2, when you're finishing your basement, you're finishing it how you would like it, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong, there's nothing against that. But I bring buyers down into these basements and they're like, why the heck would they set this up like this, right? Like, why is there an extra bedroom here and now like there's this pole like in the middle here, it kind of like breaks up the flow. So a lot of times buyers may not like how you set up your basement, right? So if you're going to stay there, it's going to be your house for a while, sure, finish the basement, do it for you. But if your basement's unfinished and you think you're going to finish it and add value to your house and then sell it, no, like don't bother, don't finish the basement. People want to have it their way, right?
Yeah, no, I could see that. A lot of people would be like, oh, I'm going to finish it myself, and now my the home value goes up 20, 30 grand because I'm doing this. Where, that's great insight.
Yeah.
That's how other people are looking at it.
Save your money.
It's funny because when you are like that, the home owner, and you're trying to increase the value and you're trying to make these, improvements on your home, you're so biased because it's yours, right? So you're not really, you can't even like put yourself in that other person's shoes, the person that might buy your home later, 5 years later, 10 years later, whatever it is. You can't even put yourself in that person's shoes. You're just seeing it through your eyes, and you want to be the designer of your basement, and then someone else comes in exactly like what you're saying. They're like, what was this person thinking?
Yeah.
Why did they do that?
Oh, yeah. We've seen some weird stuff in basements.
Yeah. What would be another one? So obviously the basement, that's the number one. That's something that comes up.
So basement flooring.
Yeah.
A lot of people think, okay, I can install laminate or hardwood floors myself. It's just click together flooring.
Yeah.
No, like flooring, that's a trade out there. People that install hardwood and laminate, like they can do it 10 times faster than me and you can.
Yeah.
One. And two, if you don't lay your flooring, click it in right, in a couple of weeks, it can start shifting apart in the middle of the floor, and now you've got a huge problem. So
Yeah.
we see that a lot. And, we see people trying to do their own trim work, and joints don't butt up the right way. And, these are minor things, but these are all things that we catch. And if it stands out like a sore thumb, it's like, got to redo the trim in here. That's how a buyer looks at it, right? So it's better to just hire someone to do those things, unless you're a super handy guy, which, I don't think 9 out of 10 of us are.
Yeah,
Hire the person that it's their trade. Yeah. I mean, you know what? I like to think that I can.
Yeah. I think that's what it is. I think there's a lot of people that think, right?
And I think that I can. I see something.
They're like, yeah, flooring, no problem, and they do it, and then they're like, they feel good because they tried, they did it.
Yeah.
There's that kind of, you pat yourself on your own back, like, hey, honey, look what I did.
Yeah.
And like you got flooring that started in the hallway that then changes a different flooring into the bedroom. That there's no gap. There is a gap, and there's not a transition piece or something. It's just there's no flow to it.
Yeah, we all think that we're great, and we can all live with our own little mistakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But buyers, they don't think like that. They're like, oh, well, look, the owner tried. He just couldn't really cut the angle on that corner. That's okay.
Right.
No, they're like that annoys the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Like we need to replace that right away.
Yeah. So what are they thinking? Are they just making their list kind of in their head or writing it down, saying like, how do we like? I'm sure they're probably like, if I want this house still, they're asking for discounts, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, that's the problem. Minus 10 grand.
So
there's another problem. Minus 5 grand.
Yeah.
Is that what they're doing?
I really think that in the first 30 seconds, buyers are making up their mind on the house, and their mind's going one of two ways. Their mind's going, I don't like this house. And so everything that we see that's wrong with the house, they're going, add that to the list, add that to the list. This is wrong. Got to replace this, need that. And it could be something as silly as needing to paint. Like, okay, a house needs to be painted.
Right.
That's not a huge deal, but they're like, oh, it needs to be painted. And, oh, now it needs a furnace. Oh, it needs a new roof. Or the other thing that happens is they walk into the house and they love it. Now, everything they're saying is now reinforcing the positive fact that they want the house. So it's the same conversations. Oh, it only needs to be painted. Oh, a new furnace. Oh, okay, no big deal. Like, furnaces are going to go. Oh, the roof. Oh, we can 2 more years out of that, and then we'll do the roof. That's not a big deal, right? So it's the same issues, but in their minds they're putting it one way or the other. That's why it's so important for sellers to have the right staging right when you walk in, to have the curb appeal, because buyers are making up their mind almost right away when they're in the house.
Yeah, that's huge insight. What is it like when a couple walks in? Is it like woman looks at the kitchen and then falls in love? Like, what is that thing? Is there one thing? Can you pinpoint? You see it when you walk a couple into the home. Like, where are they falling in love?
Yeah.
Is it a certain room, or is it a feeling that the home gives off, like right when they enter it, or are people like literally just falling in love with it from the street?
I think people are falling in love with it when they get into that main space between the kitchen and the living room. So what's big now is the open concept, right? Where everything's wide open. The parties happen in the kitchen, so you got to have a great entertaining space there. And it's just nice when it flows into a room with a TV and some nice couches, right? So I feel like as soon as they get into that space and they can envision themselves entertaining, having some parties here, having family over, that they're like, yes, like I want this. This is what I want, right? Also, like, it depends on the buyers too. I've had, I told you earlier, got a bit of a car background, right? So I work with a lot of car enthusiasts, and I've had people like fall in love with a garage. I'm like, this is
That's why it's a man cave.
I'm like, this is an unfinished garage, and he's like, yeah, but look, the ceilings are vaulted, so we can put 2 car hoists in here. And I'm like, okay,
right.
And she's like, I don't care. I'm going to look at the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you find, like, as a realtor and you're like showing the home kind of thing, are you kind of showing like, are you trying to like, obviously you know we're still talking about that couple, let's say. Are you knowing them well enough that you're like, oh, this guy's a car guy, like I'm gonna show up in the garage, or like this woman mentioned that she loves to relax, I'm gonna show her the, you know, whatever it is, the jacuzzi that's in the master or something like that.
Yeah,
like, are you kind of
totally.
showing them?
When we know what they want, what they're looking for, you know, yeah, that's a great example, because so many women are like, oh, I love taking baths, and if there's like a awesome deep soaker tub, it's like, come on, you got to come take a look at this, right?
Get it?
But you know what? When we're going out doing showings with buyers, I tell my buyers, listen, your job here is to just fall in love with this house. You know, you just look at it, fall in love with it, or don't. But my job here today is I'm on the lookout for anything that's wrong with the property. You don't got to stress yourself with that. You just figure out if the space is going to work. But I'm here to say, this furnace is done in 5 years. You're going to need a new roof in a couple years. The windows are old. You know, there's a crack in the foundation. Like, I got my eyes peeled. Yeah, I got my eyes peeled for those big things for them, so they don't got to stress about that. They can just worry about the house. And afterwards, we sit down and, okay, did you love the house? Yes. Okay, well, if you love the house, here's what you're going to have to deal with. And now let's look at the price and see if there's something we can do to adjust for these.
Right. So like that couple that's in the house, do you have any couples, or even just single people? Do you have them like walk in the house and then just know it's not for them, and then just they're like, we gotta go.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It's not worth their time.
Oh yeah.
Do you have some that are like what's that experience like?
We've had some where it's like 60 seconds and we're done. Like I remember a lot of pictures can be misleading on MLS, right?
Yeah.
So you see a picture of this huge long backyard, and we get there and we're like, the backyard looks like it's 10 feet from the fence. And it's like, how did they do that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, the power of camera lenses these days, right? Or they're putting filters to make the floors look super glossy. I think the biggest turnoffs have been like odors of pets.
Right.
You know, we've walked into a vacant house and you just get a whiff of like cat litter box, and like it's unbearable. Or smokers, people that have smoked in the house. Like, I've had people walk in and just like, nope, we're getting out of here.
And
right.
These things, because obviously I don't know, I'm very ignorant, but like, do they have to disclose these things? That it's a smoke-free home, or no? Yeah, so you just go in and you find out.
You can't really get away with it. If it smells, it smells. It's in the house, but it's pretty hard to see past like a basement that stinks like cat litter box.
Sure.
like you're not like people, they just won't go down there. If the rest of the house is nice, okay, we'll deal with it, right? But but no, very rarely does that happen.
Yeah, that's crazy. What communities do you like specialize in, or like, you know, you're serving basically all of Durham region, or is there a couple of towns that?
Durham region, lots in Bowmanville.
Okay.
I think that's where a lot of my buyers have been going, is Bowmanville. But yeah, listings were Oshawa, Whitby, Pickering. You know, I even when I started, I've gone as far as Port Dover.
Where's
for
that?
people. Port Dover is like south of Hamilton. It's Lake Erie.
Okay.
It's Lake Erie. So it's like 2 hours. And so I went out to Port Dover. You know, I realize now that I don't want to do that anymore. But I service Toronto, Scarborough, Peterborough as well. And we go east, Port Hope, Cobourg, Colborne. Yeah.
And where do you live?
I live in Oshawa.
What do you like best about Oshawa?
Oshawa? Jeez. It's a lot.
Yeah. Real estate wise, what do you like about it?
You know, Oshawa, it's a very interesting city real estate wise. You know, we've got different communities within Oshawa that are so different from one another, right? So Oshawa's got the biggest discrepancy, I guess you would say, between like North End and South End. Like, you have a detached home and a detached home, and one is worth $900,000, the other one's worth $400,000. So Oshawa, people see the average price of a house in Oshawa is $594,000. Well, that's like the averaging the two out. Well, like it's not that cheap to live up there in the north end, and the south end it's very different, right? So there's little pockets you've got to really know. You got to really know each community. Lakeview, McLaughlin, Eastdale. It's all of them are unique. You got to know the schools in each area. But Oshawa is like a pretty amazing city. Like there's not really any corner of Oshawa that isn't ready for a family. You got shopping, you got schools, you got rec centers, like all over the place now. So Oshawa's a pretty good place to live. I know it's got some misconceptions, but I like it.
And Bowmanville is definitely picking up.
Oh,
a lot of people are moving out there.
Yeah.
What do you like about Bowmanville? What do you see?
Good.
What do you like about the growth, and what do you see there real estate wise?
Bowmanville's got a ton going on right now. So the big one is the GO train coming to Bowmanville, right?
And when's that coming?
It's coming in the next few years. I think they just finalized the plans on it, or the route of it.
Yeah.
So, but it's for sure happening, and it's coming up to Waverly, or what they renamed the street to Bowmanville Avenue now, or something like that, right? But there's like tons of new construction. So there's tons of jobs coming up. I feel like there's plazas popping up left, right, and center, commercial plazas. So you got everything you need super, super close in Bowmanville. It hasn't developed as far north as Oshawa has yet. So there's like tons and tons of growth potential there.
Right. And what can that do, like for real estate, like just that, having that GO train station there? Is that like just homes just naturally just go up like 20, 40K, or are we talking more?
Yeah, well, we'll see how much it goes up, but it's going up because it's making people's commute to work shorter. Right. So
which then makes it more of a desirable community to live.
Exactly.
For people that are working in Toronto.
Right. So right now, it's even going to affect cities past Bowmanville. Like right now, if you wouldn't consider living in Port Hope if you had to commute to downtown Toronto, because you got to drive 40 minutes to the train in Oshawa and then another hour to get downtown.
Not for me.
Right? oh my gosh. And I'm sure there's people that do it.
Yeah.
I know I can't do it. But now if there's a train stop in Bowmanville, the Port Hope people are only a 20-minute drive, and then they can sit back on the train and get downtown. So they may consider going that far east now. So it's gonna change a lot, right? The big thing though, Bowmanville, resale wise, getting in there right now is smart. Even if it's not a new house, it's because they are building so much new construction, right? New construction keeps driving the prices up, which is driving these older resale home prices up as well.
Just because they're close. So you're looking at like the comparables, or
you're in the same neighborhoods, right? Like we just did a deal on a starter house for, I think it was $480,000, right? And within 6 months, this new development popped up, single detached starter houses, and they're starting from $600,000. Now I know this resale house that we got for the buyer is 20 years old, but look at the price gap between the two, right? You're not going to be worth the $600,000 price of a new one, but you're going to be worth $550,000 because someone who doesn't want to spend that much on a new house but wants that starter home, like it's going to bump up your value.
Right. What do you have advice for people that are trying to save for like a down payment? Like what do they need for down payment, I guess? And then how does someone like from right out of school, it's so hard for a lot of these kids to save for that down payment or to try to get into the market, right? Mm-hmm. What's your advice for some of those? Do you have advice for those kids right out of school?
Generally, you need the 5% down, right? Mm-hmm. And that can change whether you're looking at a $400,000 house, a $500,000 house, or maybe you just want to start with a condo, and even less, right? But it's 5%, so it's like the 15 to 20 range, $20,000 to start, right? Let's say that. Biggest thing, and what helped me the most was sitting down with a mortgage broker or a financial advisor, and actually coming up with a plan to save money. Right when you get out of school, you're so eager to get going, and you want all these things. I urge people, don't go and lease that truck, or don't go and buy that new car where you have a payment. That affects you so much. You're tying up $300-400 a month that you could be saving and just driving a regular car. You know what I mean? You don't need a big new truck. That could be going towards saving for your down payment. So my financial advisor helped me a lot. He came up with a plan where I could still live within my means, have the freedoms to go out and everything, but so much money was put away every month or every paycheck. You can set it up differently, and you don't touch it. You leave it aside and you save that for your down payment. Mm-hmm. The other thing, if you are working, you are making some money. The big one is there's that RSP contribution, right? If you're putting into your RSPs, great. You can pull some of that money out to use as a down payment, right? So it's a great government incentive there, like an alternative.
Is that the new one that just was last year or something?
No, so that was the what do you call it there? The equity share program that the government did. We'll give you.
They still offering that?
$20,000 or $40,000. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. You're giving away equity in your house for this money, right? So you got to pay them back when you sell the house. If you're taking 5% from the government, you owe them 5% when you sell of the sold value.
Right.
So
no interest on that?
No interest, but you got to just think, if you're there for a short term, okay. But if you're there for 5-10 years, like that 5%, they're making interest, but in a different way on it, right?
Sure.
They're making equity on their 5%. So I'm not sure how I feel about that one yet. We'll see how it plays out. If you can do it without it, I think you should do it without it, though. You should do it without that. Just go in on your own. I think it's better to get a co-signer, mom and dad, or there's definitely options to get you into the next step without having to take that money.
Have you worked with people that have done that, like co-sign with their parents?
Yeah, absolutely. I bought my first house that way. I was self-employed, so it was very hard to get a mortgage on my own. Yeah. And my first property was a student rental property, right? So that on top of it made it way too tough on my own. So I had my mom co-sign for me, and thank God she did. It was like the best investment that I made when I was 25. So
what kind of property was it? What kind of?
It was a detached 4-bedroom home up in North Oshawa by the university, and right away I was like, I had it for 2 months before the semester started, so I got to like live it up in there for 2 months, and then it was like, okay, time to rent it, and I rented it out to students. So it was a great. Did you like house hack it, where like you were like in a room and then you rented out same time to 3 other students, or? So I didn't do that on this property, but I'm in the process of doing that on a second property right now. So house hacking, it's
so
huge.
What is that? Let's I mean, I'm sure there's people that don't know what that is.
So house hacking is when you're buying a house that has an accessory apartment, or it's a house that you can add that accessory, or the basement apartment. Like basement might not be finished, but it's got a side entrance, a separate entrance down to it. So so many people are looking for these houses right now. I get asked, like every other person is like, I want to buy a house, but I want to have a basement apartment. And it's so that people can live upstairs in their own space, and they can rent out a separate space within the house to get rent. I mean, rent in Durham right now is a basement apartment anywhere from $800 to $1,400 a month. So imagine getting into your first home or second home or whatever, and getting that rental income in. You can live with so many more financial freedoms with that money. Things aren't as tight, right?
Yeah, that seems like a good opportunity for many. Do you think that a lot of people think that way?
I think a lot of
younger people trying to get in
are starting to think that way.
Or are they thinking now. So you've noticed that?
Yeah, big time.
Because would you say that before it was like people coming, almost like not a stereotype, but like people want their dream home, their first home. They want their first home to be the dream home, what they like been envisioning and what we've been, exposed to through media this whole time growing up in, high school or university or whatever their walk of life. To that point, they're like, oh, this first home, I got to save up, $80,000, put a huge down payment to something that like they can't actually afford.
No, exactly.
Or they can, and it just ties up all their cash.
Yeah. So we're getting asked a lot for that now. And it can help you by using that method. It can help you get into that dream home sooner. Mm-hmm. I mean, two things happen is people, they buy their house, they house hack it, they add the apartment, and they're renting it out, and that's great. And then one day they're making some more money, and one of two things happens. They decide that, okay, we don't need that extra income in the lower level, we're going to take that space back for ourselves. Or two, they look at, hey, we've got a house here that's kind of two separate units. Let's either turn this into like a legal duplex, and consider renting out this whole house as now a full income property, 2 units top and bottom. We take the income that we're making on this property and we're going to use that towards affording our forever home, and they move on. And that's kind of how people start building a little real estate portfolio. So I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of that coming up in the next years here, because a lot of people are doing this house hacking and they're not selling that starting home. They're realizing, hey, with the rental market here, this is a great opportunity to make some money on the property. So we're going to start seeing a lot of people building real estate portfolios now more than ever, I think.
Yeah. Are they creating that? So when they house hack, are they doing the renovation themselves? Or are they moving into something that's turnkey?
It depends on the client.
Yeah.
I have clients that say, find me something unfinished or that just has a bedroom but like no kitchen yet. There's a big price gap between something that's fully done, ready to rent out with a separate kitchen, versus something with just a finished basement, even not just no kitchen, because there's electrical, there's plumbing, there's permits, there's so many things involved with that. So it depends on the client. Again, it comes down to how handy they are. So they'll tell me kind of what they're looking for, and it can depend on budget too. And they say, Stefan, I can do all this stuff. Just find me a place with a separate entrance. That's all I care about, right? I don't want to have to add a door that doesn't exist. Yeah. And so we look at it that way, where some people are like, I want something turnkey that I can live in and rent out right away. Okay, we got to, here's what you're going to have to spend to do that. If you're okay with that, let's do it.
Right. Do the people that you work with, do you see that there's like people that are like, hey, I just need a home and I'm looking for a great place, and they're caught up in like the emotions and all the feels, and they want that place to be like their forever home and stuff? And do you look at other people that are looking at real estate more so from a wealth building?
Yeah, you definitely see both. And I mean, some people are cut out for that kind of like, I'm going to be a landlord and rent stuff out, and some people just aren't. They want nothing to do with it, right? So we definitely see both sides of it. There's definitely people that, they're just thinking house, marriage, kids, raise their children there, and and that's great. That's like what has been shown to us on media over the years, right? So, but other people, they do look at it the other way, and okay, everything is a stepping stone to get to where I want. And I think that's a great tool to realize and utilize, is that you're going to use this step to pay for the next step, to pay for the next step. By the time you get to that kind of forever home, like you're going to have a lot smaller payments than someone who just went out and got it, right? Because you've made equity the whole time.
Right. With the stuff that you do, there's a lot of people that you have to bring in to make this whole thing happen, to get someone to sell their home, or to get more so with selling the home than buying, I'm sure. Do you have these connections already, and like how does that work? Like someone's like, I want to sell my home, but you've got connections with probably contractors and stagers and stuff like that. Yeah.
We built a team around me that can service every and any need that home sellers are going to have. So, I do my initial walkthrough on the house. I make my suggestions. They say, okay, Stefan, we want to do this, this, and this, but we don't have anyone to do it. No problem. I've got a list of preferred vendors that I deal with, that because you're using me, you're going to get special rates from these guys. And that goes from painters to plumbers to HVAC people. So that's kind of where it starts. We look at if we're going to change anything there, or stage the house, anything there, or I shouldn't say stage the house yet, but replace any flooring or paint any walls like that. The next team member that comes in are the stagers and the cleaners. So with every listing, we offer home staging. It's like one of the best things you can do is show the best way to use this space. And it's not like knocking what other people have in their house. Like, we're not coming in saying, oh, you set up your house wrong, right? We're not saying that. We're giving the buyers like an unbiased blank canvas, the best way for them to kind of envision themselves here, right? So we bring in stagers and cleaners, and then of course we've got a professional photography team. We do video shoots. We can get drone footage done. It depends on the property and what's needed. And then we have a great marketing team that's going to get everything out there. Social media, we do Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We do custom websites as well. So they're the ones that are going to advertise the house. Who else is on the team? Oh, and we have home inspectors. So sometimes when selling, we do a pre-list home inspection. We can catch anything that the buyers might catch during their inspection, and we can address it ahead of time. So we offer that service as well, totally included. And it's something like, okay, let's say we find that there's a little bit of mold in the attic. Okay, well, that's something we can address ahead of time, or we can disclose it ahead of time. We're not going to have something come up and kill a deal, right? We can say to every buyer that comes in ahead of time, okay, we've already gotten quotes to fix this, or we're in the process of fixing this, or whatever, right?
Cool. No, there's a lot of people to make it all work, right?
Yeah.
So you're like the orchestrator, just
Yeah.
making everything happen, I guess. And that's probably like one of those pain points for people, right? It's just like,
For
oh,
sure.
wow, they want to do this, but it just seems so daunting. So many things to come together. And then, that's not even talking about if they're like trying to do it quickly because they want their kids to start like, the school year in the new community. They want to move, start that, or they got to get out. Something happened. Someone passed away. They got to get out of their space. There's a new job opportunity. They got to move into the city for whatever it is, right? So it sounds so like so much work just under like normal circumstances. Not even thinking about how do you do that when you've got some of these hard deadlines to meet.
Yeah, you really need a team. It would be a really hard to orchestrate like just by yourself. You really need a team, everyone bringing their piece of the puzzle to the table, and that's what's going to be best for the client in the end, right? For the seller. They need all this stuff to get taken care of, and that's a great term for it. You're going to be the orchestrator to make sure everything gets done on time, on schedule, but you need a team around you. You stretch yourself too thin if it's just you doing everything. At the end of the day, the client isn't getting the best service possible. So you're not doing the best thing for the client if you're not doing that.
Right. And most realtors are part of a brokerage. What's your brokerage that you're part of?
So I'm with Keller Williams Energy in Oshawa. Been there for, it's coming on to 3 years now.
Yeah. What do you like best about Keller?
You know what? It's a great group of people there. Other agents, even though we're in competition with each other, great group of agents there. Everyone's really helpful, really knowledgeable. A lot of top agents in the Durham region are from our brokerage as well. And we've got an amazing support staff there, our back-end staff, our admins. I should have mentioned that earlier, but those admins are part of my team, right? They're the ones confirming and booking appointments on these sellers' houses, right? So our clients will get to know the admin staff. They're the ones calling to confirm showings on the houses, right? So great group of people all around there.
Awesome. And what do you have advice for like someone new to real estate or thinking about getting in? You've been there, done that. You've been in this industry for 6 years now, 6+ years. And what's your advice for people that are thinking about getting the real estate license and wanting to start a career?
So someone new to real estate, I think after doing what I did and kind of going part-time in it at first and kind of getting my feet wet, seeing, can I do this? You should just go for it. Like it's not going to happen until you fully commit to it. You can be kind of good at a lot of things, but if you want to be great at one thing, you got to focus all your time, energy, your mind on it. And that's what I would do differently. If I did it again, I would have just went for it right off the bat, right? I know I can do it. Find a great brokerage that offers training. You may want to consider joining a team to kind of learn the ins and outs of the industry. That may save you some pain over the years or making some mistakes. You're going to learn from other people. And the big thing is new agent, don't think you have to reinvent the wheel. There's a lot of successful agents out there, and they're willing to share their success story with you. You just, invite people out for a cup of coffee, ask them for some time, and there's a lot of, we're not as mean as people think, we'll share with you how we got to where we are, and you know what, you just pick up a couple points from them and copy that, and you'll start to see what you like to do differently, and you'll find your way, and you'll find yourself as a realtor. Some people are these cutthroat shark negotiators, right? Some people are, more laid back, So I think you find yourself and what realtor you're going to be, and go for it. Dive in.
Cool. Yeah. What's like a day in life look like for you?
Oh, day in the life for me. I'm okay. Let's say a Monday morning.
Yeah. What's your
fun.
Let's start off with like what's your morning routine?
So Monday mornings, I'm up at 7, and I'm like a glass of water, and I'm off to the gym. I get 30-40 minutes of cardio in the morning, and then I'll come into the office, have a little breakfast there, right? First half hour of the day, like 8:30 to 9 in the office, I'm answering emails from over the weekend or the night before, kind of thing. And then we get into our prospecting right away, 9 till 12. We try to do our hardest tasks of the day first thing in the day. You get them out of the way with first, you feel so much better the rest of the day that your hard stuff's done and out of the way with, right? So we do our prospecting in the morning, any follow-ups, and the afternoon is more set for appointments, listing appointments, buyer appointments. That can change day to day depending on the day of the week or the time of the year, even how it's going. And then in the evening I try to do something for myself, play men's league hockey. Summertime, try to maybe shoot a couple holes of golf or hit the driving range. And I end the day with reading a book and back in bed to do it all again.
Yeah. What kind of books do you like reading?
Oh, I'm reading one right now called The Perfect Morning.
Funny enough, we were just talking about that, right?
Yeah. Well, so this is what.
And what is that about? Is that like setting up for success with, with a good routine or something?
6 steps to have the perfect morning every day. So it starts with sleeping right, eating right. Don't sleep with the TV on in bed, kind of thing. So no, it's really cool. I'm in the middle of it, and it's just really cool, and it's helping reiterate some things, but I'm learning a lot of new things about it.
What's something that you're going to implement?
So I am going to implement the no TV after 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, which it's hard though.
It's kind of talking about like the blue light emission from it and how it messes with your circadian rhythm and.
So like it's hard though, because like you get into like a good hockey game on TV, I don't want to turn it off, right? Yeah. So it's hard, and I used to be one of those people that couldn't fall asleep until. I couldn't fall asleep without the TV on in the background.
Yeah, you need like, what is it, just ambient, I guess, more than ambient noise, but you just needed, like you would have the volume on, or you're just...
I'd have the volume on, it wouldn't be, or else, I don't know, my mind would just wander on 100
You ever try
things.
one of those like white noise things, like an app?
No, never tried that.
I bet you could probably get like the TV noise, but yeah, for people that just need like a fan or rain or...
You know what?
I'm trying to think of other, like there's crazy ones. There's washing machines, there's vacuums, there's just, TikTok, like of a clock. There's a bunch of them.
The
but
fan,
at least you don't have it's more so like
you just need some noise happening,
but it's like
right?
the light that messes with your sleep.
So I'm going to try to get out of that. So it's now what I'm doing is I'm reading the last half hour, and a lot of nights I fall asleep and the book like hit me in the face.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I'm good. Go down. So,
because that light's a lot easier, right? Like a lamp, the light that comes from a lamp is a lot easier on our eyes and messes less with our circadian rhythm through like stimulation of like the light than screen light, like from your computer screen or your TV and stuff. So that's something that I'm guilty of that too. It's just being on your phone kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Looking into like these glasses and stuff, like some of these glasses will protect you from that from the blue from just like the blue light emission. Blue light glasses.
Yeah,
blue light
I know
emission.
someone just got glasses with a blue light filter, and now
Yeah.
she like swears by them
Yeah.
like, all the time for everything.
But it's crazy though how you just get into like a book and like 20 minutes sometimes you're like, oh my god, I am actually tired. But if you're
Yeah.
watching a game, you're so stimulated that you don't
Yeah.
feel like you're tired. Especially if you're watching something that like, you know, the hockey game and it's adrenaline and you're pumped up, or you're watching some like action movie. You're just like, how do you get tired? You're just
Yeah.
amped, right?
You know what was bad for me before? I'll even a little funny to admit this, but trying to fall asleep, I'd grab my phone and go on Facebook, and I'd get watching these Ellen videos, right?
Like Ellen DeGeneres.
Ellen DeGeneres. I admit it. And like, I was like, damn, this is like, these are good videos. And then like one plays after the other. And like, I remember looking at my phone and I'm like, I just spent an hour and a half watching Ellen. Like, I'm not even tired. I could it was bad.
Yeah, I hear you. That's even when I get on like YouTube and you watch some of these motivational guys,
Yeah.
these influencers, right? They're just like, it's like I don't want to go to sleep now. I just want to
Yeah.
work on my business. I
I
want to
wanna
do
do stuff.
something. I want
Yeah.
to put some ideas down. I want to start actioning some of this stuff.
Gary
right?
Vee said I only need 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I bring on a lot of entrepreneurs on the show, and obviously you're an entrepreneur. What's your favorite thing about entrepreneurship?
I think it's the freedom of time and freedom of money. And both of those are earned. So it's what you put into what you get out. If you want to work hard, you can earn that freedom of money. And if you have the freedom of money and you've developed this wicked business around you, you've got the freedom of time to, and you know, it's not that, hey, we just work when we want to work because we're making a ton of money. It's not that at all. You got to put in the work to get the money. But it's once you've built this business, a successful business around you, and you've got a team that supports you, business can function without you. So, you know, I'm happy to say that, you know, certain weekends in the summer, I take off and I head up to Sandbanks, and it's just time with me and the family, right? And I have no problem saying, no, I can't do an appointment this Saturday or this Sunday. Call me Monday, right? And you know, I know that that person's not going anywhere else, or I have someone else on the team help them out with whatever they need for any appointments, right? So it's building the life that you want around you through those two freedoms. And it's the reward for what you put into it. So if you're willing to work, you'll get the reward for sure.
Yeah, I love that. So you built like so you built a successful business, and kind of we dived into your journey and what it's like, and what's the next step for you?
Oh, the next step is to keep growing. I think being in a stage of growth, and always wanting to learn is a great place to be. I by no means think that am a master at my craft. There's always someone out there bigger and better than you, and those are the people I want to get in the room with. That's who I want to have coffee with, right? I want to keep growing to, turn a small team into a bigger team, and one day I'd hope to be able to have multiple people working for me, around me, where I can maybe take a step away and things keep running, things keep working. So just being involved in the business from a different standpoint. I don't have any kids right now, but something that if the future comes, I hope that, I wouldn't have to change my business. It could still work the way it's working, but I could take that step away to have more of a family life, right?
Right. Awesome, man. Well, thanks a lot for your time.
Hey.
Thanks for sharing the advice and your story, and pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for watching my conversation with Stefan Melnichuk. Go ahead, give him a follow and check him out. His contact information is posted in the show notes below. If you or someone you know is a leading industry professional with a great story, I want to talk to you. Shoot me an email at show@sankermedia.com. Be sure to like, comment, and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe for more to come.